Which martial art is best for a street fight? And if you think it's just one, odds are you can't fight.
Perfect.
Recently I've been watching lots and lots of street fighting videos, as we all kind of like to watch violence every now and again. And a common trait is kind of coming up. People either stand and box, or they try and grapple.
Whoa!
Bundle!
Yeah! But which is best? It's a question as old as time and is why these martial arts even exist. Grappling for close quarters, wrestling for if you want to pretty much kill someone by hitting them with the planet. And boxing is kind of your everyday base because everyone can throw a set of hands. This is kind of your basics, isn't it?
Just
big
anything.
winging, big old punches. Then you have the self-defense class. Does that add any value? If you attend
I'm
a
still laughing
self-defense
at the
class?
hitting with the earth. I've never thought of it that way before. That's actually quite clever.
I'm gonna
You
hit
are.
him.
I'm going to hit him with the earth.
Yeah.
Just lift him up, slam him on the ground. I've sparred wrestlers before, wrestled him. It's horrible. And all of this, just grab his nuts. It's hard when you're in the air.
Well, that's the idea of either Krav Maga or even like the self-defense classes. I recently had a conversation with my fiance's mum when we were talking about fighting. She goes, well, I would just kick you in the balls. And it's like, you're 5'3", your legs are about this thick. There's no way in hell are you going to be able to kick somebody in the nuts faster than they can attack you. But again, you have to know your entries, you have to know your distancing, you have to know how to fight to get into that range. If you can bury a decent leg kick, you can probably kick someone in the dick. But at the same time, why would you kick someone in the dick when you know how to fight? Because it's not really something we train. A lot of jiu-jitsu schools, they start with self-defense classes.
Punch at me, and this may be a sucker punch that I had very little forewarning about, just enough time to like get here and be able to block out and get my head into a safe range.
Brad would go to throw the big overhand right, double block, but we teach this as like a hypothetical, like maybe hit him with an elbow, and then catch your underhook, switch your hips, and hip toss. But it's a good thing to have in your arsenal in case. Because if the fight does get a bit scrappy and scrabbly, but again, if you know how to fight, it should never get scrappy. Like, you've never been in a street fight, I can imagine, where the guy has got close enough to you to start wrestling you. Because your wrestling ability, if they do, would be way better than theirs.
I've used it to my advantage in protect myself situations.
Protect yourself.
One of the times I was like,
is that what they're called?
The protect myself situations. One of the times I was dressed up as Alice Cooper.
Nice.
Fancy dress, and I managed to get a suplex. But I wasn't a suplex. Rolled round. Yeah, it was a suplex.
Well, you hit him with the planet.
Straight over. Yeah, I used to Melksham Street, the planet.
Yeah, I didn't knock him out, officer. The planet did.
We are not experts. I'll let Joe talk about this because we're not experts.
No, we're not we're not experts in each different style of these moves, but pretty much expert in jiu-jitsu, pretty much expert in wrestling, pretty much expert in boxing, pretty much expert in judo, pretty much expert in striking.
I've done most of it.
Done most of it at the highest level in the world.
Collectively,
and if there was anything which you would add into your game, you probably would have done it. Like you say you like Wing Chun style hand traps, but again, for sport application, great. Street fighting and self-defense, probably not so much.
No, we're not going to lie. We think that the coolest looking martial art is probably Wing Chun.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't admit that because of certain people.
Yeah. Turns out that sport application fighting does give you more basis for self-defense than pretty much anything else. It will encapsulate your wrestling, your jiu-jitsu, your throws, your striking, your kicking, and your defensive aspects as well. So we're gonna have a little run through of a few little things. So we're gonna start off with boxing. The basics, everyone can throw hands, but can they?
You're gonna get it!
We're kind of here with a bare knuckle boxing master at the moment, British cruiserweight champion with BKB. What are your go-tos for self-defense? The thing is, the self-defense situation is hard to predict and it's hard to plan for, because am I approaching you at the bar? Am I stood sideways? Am I nudging you? Am I bumping you? Am I trying to mug you from behind?
I'm not going to say, I've had a few protect myself situations. Sometimes when you're at a nightclub, you come side to side, you do get this little dick measuring battle where you're dancing, you're like, no, it's my girl, it's my girl.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and it's like, and normally 9 times out of 10, from what I've seen, from what I've been involved in myself, you get like a little push, don't you? You get the little push. To me, that's game on.
Yeah.
That's
Gradually
game
leveling up, and it gets to that point where it's like, okay, now it's what's your problem, pal? The moment it becomes verbal, I think that's when it's
yeah. So
eye
I
contact.
agree with
You can tell someone's intention in their eyes. You turn around and they're just like carrying on dancing. But if he's giving you,
Yeah, but if they continue with the escalating, the building of the ladder, the death ladder, I'm going to call it now, because this is what happens if you carried on too much. So the barge unrolls, all of a sudden, I turn around and Joe pushes me. Like, see, what I'm not going to do myself personally is then go, ha.
oh yeah, we don't get in that
I hate that.
bitchy push battle.
And then it's just who's got the bigger dick, who's going to
Well,
throw
that's
first.
how self-defense people think that fights start. With ample opportunity to counter your opponent's non-aggressive moment. This is playground bullshit. And an Aikido guy would go, Brad would go for the push. He goes to push with the right hand. Oh, he gets the arm drag.
In all fairness, that was a sick arm drag. So you can't really, you can't
No, but then
use that
he
as
goes for it
Aikido.
again, and it would be like, oh, and
Yeah,
then
that-
there's a
that-
wrist
that I would
lock.
criticise.
Yeah, and all
Yeah.
that rubbish. Because all that's going to happen is, I'm going to grab that, and he's either going to pull his hand back, or he's going to smack
Yeah,
me.
people don't realise how strong. If you hold that and I pull it back, I'd pull you into me as well.
Hello.
This one.
The non-aggressive style self-defense move, I don't agree with. I don't think it's, if it happens, there are chances for de-escalation. Like if it gets into one of these stupid fucking pushy shoving, you pushed me, you spilled my drink.
Then you're just waiting
Any of
to
that
be
rubbish.
hit.
You're either, there's opportunity to say, sorry bud, there's no reason to fight here. But if you can see he's got balled up fists and he's taking that obvious back step onto his, so he can launch this, then maybe you have to be a bit more preemptive.
Joe done that again. You took that back step.
Fucking you
Watch
what,
this.
mate? Yeah, get back as well. Also, one thing we've said before in multiple self-defense videos, this looks aggressive, this doesn't. But to someone who knows how to fight, this is actually a better position than this.
I stopped as soon as I started fighting BKB. I stopped this immediately.
Yeah.
I use that now because I don't want to get hit at all because it stings. You can feel the individual knuckles, which is not pleasant.
And also your hands are good for trapping and parrying. These little soft paddy bits actually make for quite good defensive element. And they also allow you to get entries and to trap hands and do some nice sort of fun Wing Chun stuff. But simple defense first of all with boxing. So guy squares off, he steps his hand back. What do we do? What do we throw first? Do we allow this big, slow, heavy right hand to come swinging at our face? Or do we hit him with the Bradley jab special?
Just jab the shit in the face.
Andre Lovely coming straight through.
His right eye there, I think it is, Tom.
Yes, look at his stance
Good
though.
jab from Sko, good
Oh,
shot.
great shot from
Just about to say, good jab, and then he came
Bradley
straight
Scott.
to it.
Great shot from Bradley
the
Scott.
backhand.
Because let's face it, a jab is faster than a straight. The innocent hand here doesn't look like anything. My big old hand here, if I hold this up, let's see which hand throws faster. Ooh, that's nasty.
I reckon that'd have been enough to put him off.
Oh, 100%.
Wobble him.
Yeah,
Then
and
the
again,
next
ooh, yeah, that's not a fun one, especially if I'm transferring my weight forward.
Yeah, that's how I broke eye sockets with jabs. When they'd
Yeah.
come forward, and I countered them with the jabs, I've got long arms.
But that jab is like a laser beam for you.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
one of the last
practiced and
fights
it's
is that.
trained so many times through sport application, hitting people at full speed with a set of gloves on. But it means that when it comes down to a self-defense situation, you have it dialed into your muscle memory, and that jab can come from the hip, boom, straight up.
Carl Froch does it all
Yeah.
the time. Carl Froch should just hold his lead hand here.
Boop, boop, straight up, straight in the middle. Turn it sideways as well. Come out the middle. The
Anything
stupid
from there.
shovel uppercut. The jab is your best bet for a street fight. If you can make that thing snappy, fast, and accurate, you're onto a winner. And then it's the footwork. Being able to throw multiple punches, multiple combinations is a bonus, but sometimes you're better off hitting one and reanalyzing the situation because shit can be going off around you. If I get focused so much on this guy, I go, bah, bah, and then shit starts to close in on me, I don't really know my situational awareness. There might be police watching, there might be doorman coming to get me, there might be 10 of his friends around me.
Master
Whereas
Wong was good at that. You always check his
Oh yeah,
surroundings.
no, but Master One walks around like this.
What's that? Like a chameleon on the wall, blends into the background. But if I am here and I do jab, bop, in and out, bop, I'm already out again. No matter what Joe throws now, I can see it from a longer, further
A little
distance.
bit of distance. And likelihood is that's landed. So busted nose,
I'm
bloody
hoping that
eyes.
the guy does this, then I can literally physically go.
Yeah. Give
The
you time
amount
to
of
look
times
around.
you've had fights, Dorman grab you from behind, and then as they grabbed you, oh dear, here Joe is. It's not pleasant when you can't defend. Have you ever tried slipping when someone's got your arms?
Yeah.
You can't drop, but dip. So easy, no, so you're just getting lit up. And that happened to me once on a Dragon's Lair Christmas do. Fuming. Guys like that big, never landed a punch on me in a million years. Dorman grabbed me. Oh, shit. He laid off like a free piece.
target.
It's like boom, 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 boom. I was like, God's sake, I didn't even mean to hurt him. Do you know what I mean? So I was all welted up, got him back.
Yeah.
Found him in the toilets, gone back. Then the real beef come out.
Yeah.
Don't recommend that to anyone. It's bad, silly behaviour. Shouldn't have done it. Looking back now, probably still would have done it, but you shouldn't have done it.
Step one, boxing in range is your best kind of trained element for a self-defense. I would recommend.
I think it's the best. I've spoke to a lot of people about this, and I think for that first initial contact, I think boxing is the best.
Yeah.
I suppose you could argue, like if you're a French savate kickboxer and you're back here, you can go, whoosh, don't mess with the Zohan.
Oh, yeah,
When you
yeah.
get kicked
Sniff
in the
it,
face
smell
from here. So I think personally boxing, and the reason I think boxing is so good, guys, right? I'll just go through some real basic stuff. The initial thing has happened. I can create space. As soon as I create space, or personally, I'll just punch straight away. I don't like, well, because I've seen people get bottled, and I've got friends who've been bottled, and they're like disfigured for life, so they got like half their cheek hanging down. I wouldn't wait. I actually had, I don't want to bring any names up because probably still ongoing, but someone did raise a bottle to me once, and he did come towards me, and I just punched immediately. I didn't, and it was a jab, so it was so simple. So he had a bottle in his hand, and then from there, literally, he's come to us, like, boom, boom.
It's faster. It's a faster strike. But
Well, I
again,
threw probably 6 punches, straight punches. The guy got his coat caught on a coat hanger behind him. So I thought he was still fighting back. It was actually, this is why spatial awareness is so important. Because I was getting hit by other people. I was still thinking it was this guy. So he was out cold on the jab, according to the camera. Right, so from there, I just went boom, 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 probably 4, 6 punches.
and he was hung up on a coat hook.
And he was hung up, so he was out cold like that.
Oh,
and I was like,
God.
tunnel vision, you can sometimes get tunnel, but like, you always get tunnel vision in fights. It's really hard to just do all this
Well,
spatial
it's
awareness
a-
shit when you're trying to fight.
It's an
focus on one
instinct
person.
built into us for survival from 100,000 years ago. Well, millions of years of evolution, but it's built in for hunting. It almost creates a telescopic focus, and your peripherals dial in. Also, you get blood influxes in different parts of your body. It drains out your skin. It can put
You
you in
don't
shock.
feel anything.
And you don't feel, yeah, and the
Just
adrenaline.
movement.
The adrenaline.
Apart from the body shot.
Yeah,
No
that
matter how much adrenaline you got, that liver shot is a Kathmandu, captain of the pole, you're finished. Right? Random fact for you,
But I
never
wouldn't probably
capitals.
go throwing liver shots unless you are literally taking the piss. If you're able to land a perfect liver shot, likelihood is you're probably the aggressor in this situation. Whereas not really so much self-defense anymore. It's just pure offense.
I'm going to disagree with Joe. When I had protect myself situations, I used to actively hunt the body shot just so I could use it as bragging rights. So
Well,
I
that's
could use
not
it as
defense
bragging
then,
rights.
is it? That's
Yeah, it's
offense.
protect myself, to protect myself. Yeah, so you throw that right hand, and I slip it, baby. Get the
yeah.
fuck down. Although if you threw it right hook, then you'd have landed it square. But I was still, rather than punch in the face and the liver, I'd be like, Joe,
you
got
could
a power,
take
knock me out. And I did come in, and I just threw straight punches, straight to the point. Now, when I throw these punches, all I do is I turn, corkscrew out, and if I step with it, it's the same. I still here. If I don't cork, this is what happens if I don't corkscrew. It just goes dead straight. Now if I turn the body, now I turn my leg, I get the full range here. That's the shoulder bit with the chin I was on about. Especially the guy's going to throw a right hand, boom, come in here, open up, boom. I can do the same with open up on the first step. 1, 2. All right, head off. Look how straight I punch. Here, here. And I throw my head off. The more I throw my head, the more I naturally turn my hand, by the way, guys. See this? One more time. Here, 1, 2. One way of getting in and out, nice and simple. You could push, you could just step, depending on where your opponent is or your potential attacker. So from here, I'm judging the distance. I think with one step now, I'm going to land on my target. So from here, go. 1, 2. You must keep your form. It's very important you keep your form. Again, 1, 2. this angle here. 1, 2. Keep everything straight. Straight down. Nice and long. I got long arms, so it was easy for me. We could do hooks, but for me personally, I believe that straight's the best.
This is one thing which we find with martial artists. Usually the higher skilled they are, the less likely they are to fight.
Don't need to prove anything.
They don't need to prove anything, which can be also a bit bad in the case of someone like Leandro Lo, who decided to be nice, take a guy to the ground, put him in a rear naked, let the guy get back up, and then the guy pulled a gun and shot him in the face. Not so good, man. Obviously, with striking people, you do have the risk of really hurting them, which is never a good thing. And obviously, if there are cameras watching and they see you piece a guy up with a nice 4-piece combo whilst he's shelled up and you just continue laying in, then you go hunting for the liver and stuff, you're probably going to get in trouble. So there are other ways which we will go into, but the best thing you can learn for self-defense is sport application boxing. Because self-defense is meant to be quick. It's not a fight. There's a difference between a fight and self-defense.
Steve Morris summed it up perfectly. A sport fight is loads of little fights over a space of 15 minutes. Street fight is just straight on. But in MMA, what he's trying to teach us to go in and out, back out, look, reassess, in and out, back out. Just like get off all the and be super aggressive. Aggression counts for so much. I've seen guys that are way better fighters than the person they're fighting lose because the other guy's just more aggressive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that counts for a lot.
Especially in a situation where neither of you know each other, like a self-defense situation. If you're thinking, oh, here we go, I'm going to slip his shot and I'm going to throw this jab, and he comes at you like a fucking raging bull, likelihood is then you're going to need other aspects, because if he's aggressive, he's either going to be winging like crazy with his head down, trying to get in close to try and do the typical Street Fighter bullshit grapple.
Come here.
Then you might need to know how to shoot your shot, sprawl correctly. Again, another episode, another day. Tips for this, what do we recommend, Brad?
Right, straight punches, shoulder protected chin, head off. If you already box, then you don't even need to carry on listening. If you don't box, listen very carefully. Just having the distance, the range, and because we spar with big gloves in boxing, we can hit each other flipping hard. But you get to practice over and over again your distance in live situations, sparring. I cannot stress to you enough. You can visualize stuff, which we do that as well. We visualize when we're shadow boxing, so I'm not slagging on visualization because I do it myself. There's been a lot of studies to back it up. But if you're just doing self-defense, just like, oh, so Joe throws a really slow punch at me, yeah, it's very hard to actually drill that live because sometimes nothing goes to plan. But boxing, you can pretty much guarantee if you land a solid punch, you're doing damage, if not knocking them out.
Well, there's the element of non-combative versus combative opponent. If we're doing this drill where it's, I throw this, you block that, and then he punches that, it doesn't work that way. It might not just be, I'm not going to want to get punched. Whereas in a drill, I'm allowing myself to get hit because it's the drill. So there you go, guys. Boxing for self-defense, we believe is the best, but we will be dipping into lots of other videos and styles as well.
I think it's the best for the initial start.
Which is what we're going to get into next. So we hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Like, subscribe, write a comment. What do you think is the best? Have you got any examples that you want us to show? And also, Brad, have you seen that? Fucker.
I don't fall for my own jokes, Joe, because I didn't even look at the camera in case you tried getting that.
Yeah? Okay, whatever.
Borghese champ.
Yeah, Borghese, 100%. Right, see you next time, guys. Peace out.
Adios.